Alright, 21363 track surface 63A, except for the provided in paragraph B of this section, each for the owner shall maintain the surface of the track limited as prescribed in the following table. The classes 1 through 5 will be read consecutively, and the runoff of the 31 feet of the rail end of the raise may be not more than 3.5 inches, 3 to 1.5, 1 inch. But the deviation uniform profile, either the rail mid ordinance 62 feet cord may not be more than 3 inches, 2 3/4 inch, 1 2.5 inches, 2 1/4, 2 inches, 1 1/4. The deviation of zero cross level is the point of the tangent reverse cross level evaluation of the curves may not be more than 3 2 1 3/4, 1 1/4, 1 inch. Um, the difference in cross level between 2 points less than 62 feet apart may not be more than 2 1/4, 2 inches, 1 3/4, 1 1/2. When determining engineering construction prior to the June 22, 1998, the physical restriction of the spiral length operating practice experience variation cross level spirals per 31 feet may be not more than 2 1 3/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1 3/4 inch. All right. However, guidance. The tracks are done even as a uniform track with a short distance benchmark along with the tread of the rail under load of the track structure gradually deteriorates due to the dynamic mechanical wear effect of the passing train and proper drainage unsuitable to roadbed and inadequate tamping deferred maintenance that can create surface irregularities. Track surface irregularities can lead to serious consequences if ignored. Allow the deviation of the track surface to include the runoff at the end of the ray, the deviation uniform profile of the deviation zero cross level at any point of the tangent reverse cross level elevation of the curve difference cross level between 2 points less than 62 feet apart. Refer to the track warm that is specified with the track surface table. In addition, the table includes footnotes that addresses 3 special circumstances. The first parameter of the table section refers to the runoff of the ramp at any 1/31 segment end of the rails where the track is evaluated the result of the automatic manual surface bridging work condition created with the track gradient and the settlement of the frost heave. The addressing uniform profile parameter under the section of the trains encountering the ramp will experience the vertical pitch and bounce, and the change elevation occurs in too short of distance. So some of the minute more general profile parameter damage to the car components and undesirable braking application derailments may occur, especially when the vehicle experiences lateral force such as buffer force. The following figure illustrates the measurement of the runoff raised track. Alright, this shows what's called the ramp track. The runoff is a string of 31 feet, and it's too quick of a graduation of elevation. Second parameter profile relates to the elevation of the rail along with the track. When the train encounters a short dip of the humps of the track, this can result in vertical separation. The coupler, broken springs, bolster, truck frames. Dips can result in mud spots or develop at the end of the fixed structure of the bridge. Highway grade crossing, track crossing profile determine placing midpoint 62 feet core to the port of the maximum measurement in irrespectively vertical curves. Profile may be used as a track or hump caused by the frost heave. The other occurrence of the following figures illustrate the measurement of the profile conditions. Alright, your 4-inch block uses any size appropriate for the situation. 1-inch measurement, 62-inch string line, distance between string rail. An example for a 4-inch block minus 1/4 1-inch measurement, 3-foot profile hump deviation. Distance between string and rail dip deviation, 62-inch string. Remember to consider a combination of rail type, like cloud type, ballast selection. Avoid the mid-ordinate distance according to the statute 213.13 dynamic loading when encountering humping the frost heave over the curve. Place 2 uniform reference to offset block for the top of the running of the strap to the top with a 62-foot string over the blocks within the observed head point of the midpoint of the string. Measure the distance of the string to the running surface of the rail. Subtract the distance for the height of the offset blocks to the determined mid offset. The third parameter of the table refers to deviation zero as cross level to the point with the reverse cross level to utilizing level floor measure with the subtracting difference of the height between the stop surface of the tread of one rail with the tread opposite rail on tangent track of both rails. The design should be the same height, also known as the table, as zero cross level on spiritual bottom of the curve. The outer rail may not be lower than the inner rail. Reverse elevation beyond the ground limits provided with the surface of the table. Also consideration implications, if any, of the Vmax and miles per hour may be imposed with the curved body with the reverse elevation encountered. The parameter difference of the cross level between the 2 points less than 62 feet apart, commonly referred to as warp parameter. The parameter provides the maximum change cross level between 2 points, specific distances along the track, and the warp parameter, perhaps the most critical surface parameter. Excessive warp contributes to wheel climb derailments. Following illustrate warp measurements. Alright, low joint level board measurement. The address added large 2 opposite rail measurements, 62 feet, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 1/2 inch from the 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch. The dots show a rail joint, so in between the rail joints you have a tangent curved body spiral, 2 inches, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 2 1/4 inches. Your joints, reverse elevation, 1/4 inch, 2 1/2 inches, 1 3/4 inch. Subtract the largest, smallest rail measurement and add opposite measuring of 62 feet. The threshold values warp of represent minimum safety standards encompass the full range of the rolling stock present day over the operating fleet. Some sectors should be aware some of the rolling stock because of the certain design demonstrated performance characteristics may subject additional operation restricted more restrictive warp thresholds that determine the individual railroad limits of warp apply in along with the track of the curved spirals tagging the tangent segments. Example, the limits shown in the footnote over the table will apply with the special case spirals which the physical condition prevent more restrictive limits for the general warping parameter. The footnote designated by the A asterisk of the table the explanation above the requirement is in the spiral fuse situation with the railroad has made prior engineering decision due to the physical restriction designed to shorten the spiral that would be found in a standard construction. When encountering a spiral that does not have sufficient length to run off the elevation in accordance with the warp parameter, the inspector must determine the shut-off spiral and result with the man-made with the natural obstruction. The short spiral's amount with the warp that is determined in measuring the variation cross level between 2 points of 31 feet apart. Examples of short spiral situation include rock cuts, tunnels, station platforms, etc. with the following figures illustrating the application of the footnote. Alright, your variation level board between measurements for 31 inches. The dots stand for railroad joint. Your tangent spiral point of concern load joint reverse elevation 1/18 of an inch. One opposite rail end 1/15 of an inch. 1.5 inches. You add those together, and you got your opposite rail end at 3/4 of an inch from 31 feet, 1/2 inches. 3/4 of an inch from deduction, same rail subtraction, spiral of the curve. Note the variation applied with the spiral length limited due to the tunnels, rock cuts, stations, forms, etc. Railroads expected to apply with variation parameter thresholds, location clearly, history, restrictive physical characteristics, measuring, tracking for the parameter, perimeter, location, transit position between tangent, spiral, curved body to determine the actual physical layout. When they're not assumed the sign synonymous with the railroad marker, the tags, the curvature are similar information, therefore governed accordingly, applying with the footnote and any other track geometry. Alright, under the footnote number 1, with when the elevation at any point of the curve equals 6, exceeds 6 inches, the difference across level warp of the 62 feet between the point of the point which for the greater elevation may not be between 1.5 inches regardless of the track class. The footnote is include the address, condition of the vehicle, and operating with a curve with a large amount of the elevation counters the warp of the condition. Since the vehicle is typically in unbalanced the warp that may be induced wheel climb. Slow speed curve negotiation is particularly concerned since the vehicle's wheels of the outside rail of the curve will tend to unload due to the overbalanced condition of the vehicle, where the condition is found as an appropriate corrective action with a reduction class 1 speed under the provision of statute 213(9)(b). The following figures illustrate a warp exceeding 1.5 inch for the curve of 6 inches elevation. Alright, your level board measurement. The first joint is 6 inches and has 5.5 inches to 7 5/8 of an inch, which is a difference of 1 5/8 of an inch. Warp value behind the permissible limit, and then the next joint from 7 5/8 of an inch goes from 5.5 to 5 7/8 of an inch. Footnote number 2, table address of the critical harmonic rock off a condition. The result of the rock back and the fourth derailing following the wheel climb. The consideration rare with the could occur with the continuous wall derailment, but it may occur with the joint memory exists. In this case, with the condition is defective unless it exceeds the warp limit specified with the table. The inspector should call the condition attention for the railroad cross level difference. Warp may not exceed 1 1/4 inch on all 6 consecutive parts of the joint under the conventional joint spacing 36 39 foot long rails. Each one 6 pairs must exceed 1 1/4 inch for these conditions. In fact, additional joints have the introduced outside regular spacing characteristic the result of the rail repair not considered harmonic joints for the purpose of the footnote. The following figure illustrates the harmonic rock off condition. The worst signal with the warp is 1/2 is acceptable to class 5, but 6 consecutive pairs of the joints have a difference of 1 1/4 inch before the class may be reduced to class 1. 3/4 1/2, 3/4 1/2, 3/4 1/2, 3/4 5/8 of an inch, 3/4 1/3/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch, 1/2, 7/8, 1/3/8 of an inch, and 1/2. This is the box worst signal single warp. And that goes from 1/2 to 5/8, 1/5/8, 1/8, 5/8, 1/8, 1/3/8, 7/8, 1/3/8, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch. Or a condition consecutive below on both the joints may be compliant either with the warp limits specified with the table of requirements footnote number 2 through 1363 table. The inspector should consider any continuous group of the joints. One defect note the number of the joints. If the harmonic condition continues beyond the seventh joint, the inspector is not required to record any of another defect, but must note that the number of the consecutive joints makes the harmonic condition. Joint rail stagger that is not identical stagger associated with the curve when the rail slightly longer than the original construction is installed should be considered with harmonic calculation. Additional joints introduced installation short rails are ignored evaluating harmonic condition. Construction consisting of 79-foot, 80-foot rails does not result in harmonic rock-off conditions since they occur outside of the vehicle truck spacing. For 79 and 80-foot rails staggered spacing less than 10 foot, the footnote is applicable. The inspector should review the condition compliance with the other track surface parameters. Inspector shall carefully apply with the provision of footnote number 2 of the statute 21363A of the table an acceptable remedial action to break the tamp one of the two joints in the middle of the consecutive load junks. These will break up the harmonics. 63B for the operational qualified cant deficiency EU for the more than 5 inches each of the track owner shall maintain the surface of the curve limits prescribed in the following table. The track surface in inches of the deviation uniform profile either rare, mid-order, and 31-foot or may not be more than 1 and 2 are not applicable. 3 and 4 and 5 are 1 inches. Class tracks deviation of uniform profile either the rail is 2 1/4 inch for 1 and 2 and 1 3/4 inch for 3, 1 and 1/4 inch 4 and 5 1 inch. Or the difference in cross level between any 2 points within 10 feet apart should not short warp shall not be more than 2 inches for 1 and 2, 1 3/4 inch for 3 and 4, and 1 1/2 inch for 5. Paragraph 63 was introduced the VTI final rule of the 78 Federal as F16101 March 13, 2013. The paragraph contains a tighter single deviation geometry limits of operations above 5 inches. The cant deficiency on curve. The limits include the 62-foot minimum chord offset, the track surface, the 31 minimum chord offset limit, the track surface, the 10-foot warp. The difference from the cross level between 2 points from 10 feet apart with the opposite other limits of the rows 1, 3, 5, and 1, 3, and 1 and 3, and 2 and 3 to 5. Paragraph 63A is still applicable. The limits provide equivalent marginal safety operation with the above 5-inch cant deficiency. They're based on the results of simulation studies determining the safety amplitude of the track geometry, surface, and variations. Alright, 21365, the combined track alignment and surface deviations on any curved track when the operation conducted with a qualified cant deficiency EU greater than 5 inches. The combination alignment, the surface deviation, same chord length on the outside of the rail and the curve that is measured with the track geometry measurement system should comply with the following formula. 3/4 inch times AM, a measured alignment deviation uniform outside positive, inward negative, over the allowed alignment limit, statute 21355B allowed positive for the class track plus SM measured profile deviation uniform down in positive up in negative over allowable profile life limit as 21363B always positive for the class track. Or you can have the you want the absolute value that greater than less than 1. The measured alignment deviation uniformity divided by the allowable alignment limit per statute 21355B plus measured profile deviation uniformity plus divided by allowable profilable limit per section 21363B. Absolute value is the absolute value of the value results in the same equation just taken out of brackets. Alright guys, the section contains limiting interest in combined track alignment, the surface deviation operation of above 5 inches of the cant deficiency on curve, the equivalent given of the computing combined track alignment and the surface deviation of single chord length with the limits of the intent of the use of the track geometry measurement system applied outside the rail and curve. The track safety standards has additional prescribed limits on grid geometry variations existing in isolation. However, the combination track alignment surface variations may result in undesired vehicle response even though neither alignment nor surface variation individual amount of the deviation requirements for this part. Section 213.333 3A, contains the track geometry measurement system inspection requirements for the operation with the cant. Deficiency greater than 5 inches over the cast of class 1 through 5. These requirements apply with required statute 21357. The train operating with a high cant deficiency increasing lateral wheel force exerted outside of the rail during curve of the hands, decreasing the margin safety associated with the VTI safety limits in statute 213333. To address these concerns, simulation studies performed to determine the safety aptitude for the combined track geometry variations. Result of the research showed the equation based on the safety limit in this section provided with the margin safety vehicle operation any speed higher than 5 inches cant deficiency. Subpart D, track structure.